Dear everyone, we've closed all of the doors. If you're in the work already, have fun. If you're not, you'll need to rappel up to the ceiling and be lowered down Mission Impossible style to your work section. It's fun. Martita will be with us in minutes. If you're a Food Network fan, you've probably seen their hit show, The Next Food Network Star. It's the show that made Guy Fieri a household name. San Diego woman. Martita, you came in here before the show started.
Yes.
We got to see a sneak peek of Martita.
Yes.
And when you left, I was like, I'm certain she at least goes far. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not just because you're charming and whatnot, but you seem like a person that had been practicing. You had some experience.
With the food, absolutely.
Not just with the food, but with being on the microphone, being on the spot, having to tell a story. That you weren't coming off like a person who only made it 2 weeks. You're coming off a person who had some mileage out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that I was right because I don't know anything. I was guessing. But here you go. After last week, it was a little bit of a nail biter. It looked like you might go home.
Yeah, I know. It was drama. And actually, it was a million times more dramatic than what they showed. It was one of the most intense weeks we ever had there.
Wow.
Yes.
If you missed it, the way the show works, if you end up in the bottom two, you have to kind of cook for your life. And this was an intense one.
It was. It was a very emotional, soul-finding moment for a couple of us. And it's a good thing they didn't show it because we really got into the ugly cries. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to show us going into the ugly place. But they didn't.
That was nice of them.
Yes. I was like, thank you.
Well, what you mentioned, it's interesting when you mention emotion because the way it's broken down, each team has a celebrity chef mentor, and Elton Brown's team doesn't have emotion.
He doesn't have emotion.
They're robots.
You know, they do. They're just, I think they show it differently. And Justin, Emily, Marty, all of them, all of those people, they're all heart. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the cast is all emotion because they're all artists and everything what we're doing, it's always on the line. Your heart, your soul, your career, your future, it's always on the line. So it's all emotion in there.
It's tough, man. I watch this. I'm a guy who likes to cook, and I don't cook well enough to be on a show like this. But if I did, it's bad enough you have to come up with all these dishes. But to host a TV show, they're expecting you to tell a story, connect with the audience. I don't have a story about everything I cook.
I know, and you need to have a story because you have to make people want it at home. You have to romanticize it,
Yes.
Like Jara would always say, Martita, they can't taste the food.
Right.
When they're watching. They can't taste it. So you have to tell a story. You have to make them taste those flavors through the camera.
It's a wild thing. We have a lot of choices now. We have literally a network of food shows and others like it. But who did you look up to? Who do you want to be the next? I mean, who did you watch for hours on end and go, boy, that makes me want to cook?
Well, I don't know that I want to be the next, but I'll tell you, when I was in my early 20s, I had the biggest crush on Emerald.
Wow.
I did. And I would tell my man, I'd say, honey, I just want you to know that if I ever bump into Emerald,
it's going to be Pam.
Yeah, it is.
I just loved his passion in the kitchen and his enthusiasm and his energy. And he was so charismatic, and I was like, that's hot.
Yeah. Well, I guess the classic TV chef is a Julia Childs, but Emerald was kind of the guy that brought that back around.
Yes.
I don't know if there is a Food Network without Emerald.
He made it very exciting. He
did.
very exciting and entertaining.
AJ was talking about Alton, but can you dish a little bit and tell us who the most difficult person is that you have to work with?
Difficult.
Yeah.
I don't think, that's something that we all agreed on as a cast this season because we had seen previous seasons. And again, it may come down to editing, but none of us really had any beef with the other person. We all got along. And even though it was individual teams, it was like that the first couple of weeks, but when we all started to get to know one another, we all became one big fat team.
Okay.
And we are all loving each other and rooting for one another. And, Michelle and I were having pep talks at night. And, Justin and I are staying up till 3 a.m. chatting about this, and this, like just encouraging one another and saying, you could do this, you should do this. Yeah, so we became one big fat team. It was really nice.
Yeah, well, we don't need any Tupac and Biggie style beef on Next Food Network Star. Let's just be happy that we're keeping it under control. You're having a dinner party. Mm-hmm. I'm asking this question for people that are watching the show.
Claro.
You're having a dinner party. You're not going to cook. One of your fellow cast members is making food for everybody.
Oh, I love this question.
Who do you pick?
Yeah. Michelle.
Based on what?
Michelle, I think, is deep down on the inside a little bit of an Italian mama, and in the house she would do a lot of it.
Okay.
So she would just kind of, all right, everyone, I'm gonna make this, and we were like, cool, go ahead,
Yeah.
feed us, we love it, and she's great.
To get good at something, you have to be really passionate about it. And I think, a painter sees something in a picture or that other people might not see. Like, you have to have
A vision.
And when you walk around with that vision and that palette that you've probably, do you ever just have a Pop-Tart?
No,
I mean,
swear.
is your bar set so high that you can't have a lean pocket now?
Yeah.
No, it's true. There are moments where I'm like, I'm just gonna heat up a tortilla and put a little bit of cheese in it, and maybe put some tapatio on it, and that's all I want. And I will eat that for an entire day. You kind of need to like just chill, or I will just eat apples or cantaloupe, something really plain, really simple for a couple of days, because it does become.
You need to back off.
Yes, well, what do they say? Like, if you had to have your favorite meal every day, at some point you're gonna be like, dude, can I just get like some beans and cheese?
It's called Martita. It's called OD, over deliciousness.
Yes, over delicious.
Can't be making
Yeah.
everything delicious all the time.
Not 24/7.
It's not a problem I have. So what? Because I can't make everything delicious like you can. What now? Everyone talks about their point of view. It's a
Yes.
big thing they talk about on the show. Your POV. And what has yours evolved to now? Like, if you had a show tomorrow, you'd be presenting as, I'm Martita, the home cook that.
Jara helped me bring me there, and she said, and I agreed, is I do Mexican food with a California twist. She said, Martita, you cook Mexican the way I cook Italian.
All right.
And I actually converted her to Mexican food. She didn't like Mexican food until I pretty much
What
came
is her
along.
problem?
Well,
I knew there was something
she
with
said
her.
It was too heavy, too oversauced, too overdone, too gussied up, and I just lighten it up, and just make it a little bit cleaner, I think, and that's what I do. I do it with a California twist
I think you do.
and a lot of tequila.
And I think, you know what?
Oh, yeah. That always helps.
Yeah. Well, to a lot of that country, that's going to seem very exotic. We're spoiled in California. We have Mexican food wherever you go. But
Yes.
you're sitting there in the Midwest, you see this woman, she's making some kind of food that all you've ever seen is a taco. It's to a lot of people, it's going to be unfamiliar, but in an exciting way.
Correct.
What's Giada talking about it being heavy? She's making these pastas and all this. Italian food is heavy.
Yeah, well, and she tries to lighten it up, because if you're eating it every day, it can't be, super, just, it can be a bit much. So we just kind of lighten it up. And every now and then,
You take it easy. You end up being Giada. You go big all the time. You end up being Mario Batali. And that's a different. You're walking around in Crocs and a
I
ponytail.
love that man, too.
He's great.
He's awesome.
Well, you're great. You're going to come out here after you win this whole thing?
Of course.
All right.
That's the plan.
It's a done deal. Thanks for taking
Thank
the time to
you.
come
I
in here this
appreciate
morning.
it.
You're such a joy to watch.
Thank
It's
you.
so nice that you're
Appreciate
representing
it.
our town.
Keep voting for me, San
Yes,
Diego.
absolutely
Please.
we will.
Yes, go to foodnetwork.com and you can vote for you to be the fan favorite.
Absolutely.
That's a totally different
Different thing.
recognition than
Yes.
winning just the show. And you are you're neck and neck for number one last time I checked. This
the
appearance,
Justin.
I don't want to brag, there are over 10 people that listen to this show. This appearance is going to nudge you up a little bit.
Thank you.
Everyone
I
go vote.
appreciate
You
it.
got it.